Yeah.
We'll
Are you
try.
gonna try to go Union and stuff?
Yes. So that's my plan is I think so I'm gonna go up to Northern Stage again for a month. Sorry. There was like a tiny piece of
Please leave that. That was just watching that happen was amazing.
They're just like the tiniest piece of fuzz that I was following. Probably went cross-eyed and everything.
Yes.
Stand by please, electric sound, wardrobe, wig, stage management, stage crew, flyers and all technical departments.
Welcome to Leave the Ghost Light On.
I have a really, really quick, fun theater fact for you.
Ooh.
So actually I need to look up the name of the show because I keep forgetting it, but there is a new show on Broadway. I think it's called Happy Never Ending.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or
Happy Never After or something. Maybe Happy Ending.
Maybe Happy Ending. There we
That's the
go.
one. Yep. Okay. Maybe Happy Ending.
Maybe Happy Ending.
Oh, with Darren Criss.
So I have a friend who was in well, I think they were the lighting designer.
Ooh.
For this show.
Ooh.
I'll give my little shout out to Kat Morrill. So, but yeah, they were a part of it, and apparently it's doing really well. I have no idea what it's about, and I'm kind of not looking it up on purpose because I think I'm gonna go and try and see it.
Ooh, yeah. Because you go next week? This week?
I go today.
Oh fuck, dude.
I mean, it's
like, I know it's soon.
Yeah, no, it's like midnight today.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. But anyway, so Garrett, while I was out and about doing my freelancing, went to New York and saw the show with Kat, and like said he loved it and like cried the whole time, which is also why I'm like, okay, I don't want to hear about it then. Like I want to go in blind seeing it. But again, I've heard very, very good things. But I got a nice little insider. Do you remember me talking about the gypsy robe?
Yes.
From the Superstition Tradition episode. So the gypsy robe, for anybody who doesn't remember, is on opening night for a brand new show. You give it to the oldest or the person who has been on Broadway the most, but it has to be like an ensemble member. Yeah, and they do like all this, wear it around, turn around, all that stuff, and then they put a patch on it. Well, so for maybe Happy Ending, apparently there's only one ensemble person because everybody else is main people. It also has to be a musical, I think, if I remember correctly. It can't be straight plays. Only musicals, I think. It's just like a musical tradition. But anyway, so they only have one person who's in the ensemble. And it's a plant.
Oh shit.
And so they literally put the gypsy robe on the plant.
What?
To which again, I have no idea what the show is about. So
yeah, now I'm
like
confused.
I was like, is this Little Shop of Horrors?
Of course my mind went straight to that, but like what?
But either way, fun fact, yeah, the gypsy robe is obviously, it's still happening, and we have an insider who got to like actually see it happen.
That's really cool.
But yeah, it was on the plant. So
that's so fun.
That's
so fun.
Yeah, that was my one little fun Broadway fact. But yeah, whenever this episode comes out, it will have been long gone. But yeah, I'm going to New York tonight.
Woo!
So me and my mom are seeing Cabaret. So
my friend Danny is the I think you call him the associate director for that. So he's the one that is in charge of the ones on tour and the West End version. And
does he want to give me job?
Probably.
I was like,
I'll text him.
My job doesn't do anything with that, but I want job.
But, yeah, I am job.
So, and then that's kind of it.
I wanted to tell you, I keep forgetting to fucking tell you this. So Brian Ruggeber, who was our scenic
designer professor at U of M.
University of Memphis, Jinx, who's a lovely, lovely human, and I hope that he listens to this because I love him a lot. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
He has been working in some capacity on the Fallout series.
Nice.
Mhm.
That's
So,
awesome.
and I was like, "Oh my god, Jill, you need to contact Brian and be like, how do I help
Mhm.
you? What do you
Ooh,
need?"
I'm gonna do that because
Do it.
apparently, fun
'Cause I
fact, I
mean,
guess,
he
like,
should be one of your recommenders anyway because he's
yeah.
the best and he knows everyone.
Yeah, no, I'll contact him because apparently they still talk about me at U of M, which makes me really happy. I guess,
Oh,
like,
yay.
I'm one of their, like, success stories,
Yeah,
uh,
duh.
which I was like, "Oh!" So, the reason I found out about that, like, within last story and then we can start, but, like, the reason I found out about that was, do you remember Rick, the, like, shop foreman?
Oh, yes, I do. I remember
So
Rick.
so apparently, like, this only happened, like, maybe 2 or 3 months ago.
Hmm.
My dad found himself in a truck all day with Rick,
Oh,
moving
I'm sorry.
stuff, apparently. I don't remember exactly what capacity it is because my dad and my mom both volunteer at Theater Memphis,
Oh, yeah.
and so I think they were doing something along those lines. I don't remember what exactly it was, but yeah, they were moving stuff, and my dad was
So
like,
funny.
"Yeah, my daughter went to U of M. I don't know if you remember her, Jill?" And Rick apparently was like, "Yes!" And, like, they talked
That's
about
cool.
me and everything, and Rick was
Oh.
saying that I guess, like, everybody is still, like, very proud of me and everything, and I
Oh,
was
well,
like,
that's cool.
"Aw, that's very nice."
Kind of in that same vein, I went to see this really, really sweet, very adorable, very, very beautifully done, Christmas cabaret last night with, a
Mhm,
couple of my friends, and one of my friends was in it, and after the show, everybody's talking and stuff in the lobby, and I
mhm,
walk up to this woman, I was like, "Oh my god, that's Rachel Briley," and
mhm,
Rachel was the TYA, like, theater education professor when I went to UNCG. I
mhm.
got to talking to her, and she was like, I was telling her what I was doing and the fact that I'm still friends with Ben Holbrook, and she, like, nearly lost her mind, and
Aw,
she was, like, immediately texting the other professors that I used to work with and
mhm.
was like, "Oh my god, that's so exciting, like, of course I know you, of course, blah, 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 and, like, that's
Yeah.
so exciting that you're doing everything, I can't wait to come see your next shows," and I was like, "But I certainly haven't seen her since I graduated in 2007."
Yeah.
Um
I was like, "It's okay, you can say it."
Don't tell nobody.
Do you remember, Cody Rutledge?
Rutledge, yes, of course. Oh,
So
because, the first word I think of when I think of Cody is Visqueen, because when he was
That's fine.
designing for Mark's show,
Mhm,
he Visqueen was, like, one of the products that he used.
mhm.
Just his accent of how he says Visqueen.
And, like, he's somebody that, like, I didn't interact with almost anybody at
Mm,
U of M because, like, I was only there for a very short amount of time and was
mm,
more of, like, an art person, but, like,
mm.
I've talked to him and Travis and stuff like that,
Oh
like,
gosh.
within the yeah, within the little bit because like, I'm not doing circ anymore, so I'm, like, back in, like, the normal theater world, but I posted a picture this last time that I was in Northern Stage, and Cody, like, immediately messaged me and was like, "Is that Alexander's designs?"
Oh,
And
shit!
I was like,
That
"Yes,
name
why?"
makes
And
me
he was like,
think,
"This is my professor."
"Oh, shit!"
Yeah. But it was just funny that he was like, "I recognize these from what you're painting," and I was like,
Oh.
"Well, that's good."
That's so cool. That's so
But
cool.
yeah. Yeah, it's amazing once you leave circ, then you get back into the happy theater world again of knowing people and people who are just lovely and nice. Oh,
And the
man.
message is, do what you actually like doing,
Mhm. Well, shall we get started? You
I
get to go
suppose.
Yeah, you get to go first.
Hooray! Okay, I've
Yay,
got
hooray.
one this week that it's awful. I will preface with that, so, of course, I have the tragedy.
Nice.
Um, this is one that we may have, like I may have referenced at one point or another, because of the scale of the tragedy.
Mhm.
Um, but this is a tragedy that occurred at the Coconut Grove Theater and Entertainment Space in Boston, Massachusetts. So let me give you some background about the Coconut Grove. It opened as a partnership between two orchestra leaders, Mickey Alpert and Jacques Renard, in 1927 during Prohibition, and it's located at 17 Piedmont Street in the Bay Village neighborhood of Boston. It was initially designed as a dance club and entertainment hall, and quickly became, as you can probably guess, because it was during Prohibition, a speakeasy.
Woohoo! Speakeasy.
And on top of that, Albert and Renard's mafia-connected financiers gained control, and the club had a reputation as a gangland hangout because Boston. So, of course, this is many, many decades before Whitey Bulger and like most of the names that we know now, but I can guarantee you it was a whole lot of horrible shit going down.
Yeah.
So, originally a garage and warehouse complex, by the 1930s, it consisted of multiple dining rooms, bars, and lounges. By then, ownership had passed to one Barnett, aka Barney Wolanski, who was originally the lawyer of the previous owner, who was Charles King Solomon, aka Boston Charlie, who was a well-known gangland boss and bootlegger. I did discover that King Solomon was actually gunned down in the bathroom of a different nightclub.
Oh my gosh.
Fun stuff.
All right.
So then, ownership of the club then passed to his lawyer for some reason. So there you go.
Nice.
There are plenty of prominent guests that would visit, including movie stars and singers. The club offered its patrons dining and dancing in a South Seas-like tropical paradise with rattan and bamboo coverings on the walls, heavy draperies, dark blue satin canopies, and covering on the ceilings, palm tree-style support columns, coconut-like fixtures, the works. Like, they went hard on the tropical theme.
Nice.
And the theme even continued into the expanded rooms, including the Melody Lounge, Caricature Bar, and Broadway Lounge.
Nice.
So it was originally like just one structure, and then they expanded it to be like a multi-complex kind of thing that had a bunch of different bars, hangout areas.
Nice.
The Grove had not obtained any licenses for operation for several years. There were no food handlers permits and no liquor licenses.
So they were just like, yeah, they were just gung-ho in it.
I mean, we're making money. Who cares?
Right.
America.
So, oh, yeah.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for. And on top of that, let's take a wild guess as to what other operational standards and safety measures may have been skirted in, I love my description that I gave of this, in this Prohibition violating, mafia puppeted den of debauchery, aka nightclub place of fun.
I'm going to guess they had no fire codes.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Bing, 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 bing.
Oh, man. Who needs that when you're, having a hellhole
Having a
debauchery? And if we still had fun titles, that would be the title.
Oh, yeah. We can, that can be our title for this one.
There you go. That'll be the episode description.
Oh my God. This is fun.
Yeah.
So now let's get to the shitty part.
Yeah, I know.
Let's jump right to the night of the tragedy, which, if you hadn't already guessed, is fire related. So it is November 28th of 1942. The Grove, as it has typically referred to, had become one of Boston's most popular night spots, specifically for floor shows and piano playing entertainers. So it was everything from like a cabaret lounge to vaudeville stuff to floor shows of like, the scaled down version of like the Follies.
Yeah.
And at 10:15 p.m., on stage is a young pianist and singer, Goody Goodell. And there were estimated to be more than 1,000 people in attendance, not just to see her, but, for the vibes, like in the multiple other rooms as well. So not just like in one room. Any idea what the max capacity was of this place?
523.
So what?
523.
Oh, less.
Oh my God, less? I thought my guess was going to be ridiculous. 250.
Not quite that little.
Okay.
460.
Oh my God. They were severely
we're
over capacity.
But actually, apparently that was not unheard of to be at like double or even triple capacity. And they were just like, I mean, what even are codes?
Oh my
Who fucking cares?
I mean, yeah, they don't care.
I mean, money's money, living the American dream.
Love it.
So there are many disputes on what exactly caused the initial issue. The official record states that a fire began from unknown origin. But what is known is that a young busboy who was tasked with before I jump into this, I also want to mention that this is the absolute tip of the iceberg of all of this stuff. Like everything that I'm about to tell you is maybe a 16th of what you can find out about this place and about the tragedy and about the everything.
Nice.
What is known is that a young busboy was tasked with screwing a light bulb back in that had been loosened by someone who was trying to like canoodle with their date in the dark.
We're just gonna dim that light. Love it.
So in order to see where to put the fucking light bulb back, he struck a match to see where it needed to go. But other people are like, okay, well, it wasn't the match that actually like started anything. He was careful and whatever. Other witnesses and even experts indicate that the fire may have been a result of faulty wiring. And then when returning the light bulb to its home, it sparked something, but it's kind of all debatable. However, the result is unfortunately very factual. Okay, so yes, like I said, the rest of these, the resulting incidents are all very factual, and there's a lot of horrible details that I'm leaving out, so you're welcome.
Oh,
but
you don't want to give us
I'll give you a couple of them.
some gory detail. Okay.
Oh, I'll give you a few, don't worry. But
Okay.
just for details of like how this happened. So once the fire caught the palm frond decor, attempts were made to separate the burning fronds from the fabric-covered false ceiling. Decoration was pulled away from the corner, taking with it a triangular plywood panel at the ceiling level and opening the closed space above the false ceiling. The fire then spread to the false ceiling, which burned rapidly, showering patrons with sparks and burning shreds of fabric. Flames raced up the stairway to the main level, with embers landing on patrons fleeing up the stairs. A fireball then burst through the front entryway and spread through the remaining club areas, through the adjacent caricature bar, and down a corridor to the Broadway lounge, and across the central restaurant and dance floor as the orchestra was beginning its evening show.
Damn.
Within 5 minutes, flames and smoke had spread to the entire nightclub. Some patrons were instantly overcome by smoke as they sat in their seats. There are even instances and like notes from the EMS firemen, whatever, that came to try to help, that were like, there were some people still sitting in their hand with their drinks.
Wow.
That's how quickly the smoke overtook them.
Jeez.
Others crawled through the smoky darkness trying to find exits, all but one of which were either non-functioning or hidden in non-public areas. This part gets worse.
Oh, gosh.
So, fun side note, owner Wolanski, again, that lawyer dude, typically locked exits, concealed others with draperies, and even bricked up one emergency exit to prevent customers from leaving without paying.
Oh my God.
On top of this, as if that were not bad enough, the building's main entrance was a single revolving door, which was rendered completely useless, of course, as the crowd stampeded in panic. Bodies piled up behind both sides of the revolving door, jamming it until it broke.
Yep, we've seen Walking Dead. That happens.
Right. Yes, exactly.
That awful scene in Walking Dead. Anyway.
But exactly that. The oxygen-hungry fire then leaped through the breach, incinerating whoever was left alive in the pile.
Oh, jeez.
Firemen had to douse the flames to approach the door. And here's another horrible part. It was so cold that night that as they hosed people down, it turned to ice.
Dang. Wow.
And even some of the fire hoses were iced to the ground.
Wow.
So they could no longer lift them.
Oh my gosh.
So that stopped a lot of the rescue attempts.
Jeez.
So the staff at the Coconut Grove fared better in escaping than customers, probably because they were more familiar with the service areas and they knew where to get out additional exits and windows.
Oh my gosh.
So there were quite a few people of the members of the band that died. But some of them were able to escape through a service door that they rammed open. Some of them escaped out a basement window and then helped other people to safety. Bartenders and other employees and patrons escaped into the kitchen. There was a bartender that used a cloth napkin that dumped a pitcher of water on it to breathe through it so he could help people get out and make his escape.
Yep, that's smart.
But so many people were not quite that lucky.
Oof.
There was one guy, he was a Coast Guardsman, Clifford Johnson, who went back inside the building no fewer than 4 times in search of his date, who, unbeknownst to him, had safely escaped.
Oh.
He survived.
Oh.
But he suffered extensive third-degree burns over 55% of his body.
Wow.
Becoming the most severely burned person to survive his injuries.
Wow. Yeah.
And here's just a little fun, good thing.
Okay.
After 21 months in a hospital and several hundred operations, he married his nurse.
Oh, so screw that date who ran away and left him.
She was like, bye, I guess.
Bye. Yeah. I can take care of myself. I'm an independent woman. I don't need you.
He was like, you could have fucking told me that.
I know, right? You could have said something. That's very cute, though, that he married his nurse.
Yeah. But then there's, like I said, a lot of other people were not quite as lucky. And okay, this is rough. But
oh gosh.
The official death toll is 492.
Holy. Is that more than the Iroquois?
Actually, that's, it's funny you mention that because the Coconut Grove was the second deadliest single building fire in American history.
Okay.
The Iroquois is the only one that surpasses it with a toll of 602.
That's a high number.
Jeez. So let's get to some repercussions and investigations that happened because of all this shit and things that actually changed because yay. Yeah. So an official report revealed that the Coconut Grove had been inspected by a captain of the Boston Fire Department just 10 days before the fire and declared safe.
Of course.
So then, many years there were lots of investigations and a lot of people were held accountable for things, which, thank God.
Good.
But there were a couple of different things that they discovered were the causes of not just the ignition, but the rapid spread and the catastrophic loss of life. Of course, one of those being all of the decor, that it was all very, you had rattan and you had bamboo and you had, all this stuff, lots and lots of draperies and, all this kind of stuff. But then
ambiance.
Yes, of course, your ambiance killed you. But one really horrible part of this was that there was where is that? Oh, yes. During the 1990s, a former Boston firefighter and researcher, Charles Kenny, discovered that a highly flammable gas refrigerant, methyl chloride, had been used as a substitute for Freon, which was short in wartime supplies.
Okay.
So those air conditioning condenser units near street level had probably had not been serviced since the start of the war, but that it effectively was an accelerant and it caused an electrical failure. That the ignition of the methyl chloride accelerant by an electrical failure caused by substandard wiring. Yeah. So it's just.
I mean, that's kind of similar to the Ringling Brothers fire, where it's like it's ridiculous, but it's like, yeah, the stuff that they used for waterproofing was literally gasoline. So
yeah, right. And the fact that asbestos was supposed to be this fire retardant thing, and it was like, right, if you use it correctly. Yeah. But they were like, well, let's just water it down or whatever and, make it only like 50%. So it's like, well, no shit, no. Your shit caught on fire.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, God. So Barney Wilansky, whose connections had allowed, again, the nightclub to operate while in violation of all the quote-unquote standards, which were kind of irrelevant anyway, was convicted of 19 counts of manslaughter, which is weird because 19 victims were randomly selected to represent the dead.
Interesting. Okay.
He oh God, this is horrible. But so he was sentenced to 12 to 15 years in prison, which is fucking nothing.
Yeah.
He served nearly 4 years before being quietly pardoned by someone who had been elected the governor. In December 46, ill with cancer, he was released from prison and told reporters, "I wish I'd died with the others in the fire." And he
Oh.
actually died 9 weeks after he got out of prison.
Oh, so he
So he
maybe
had
felt
a
bad.
little bit of a conscience.
Okay.
A small one.
A very, very
Not
itty
one
bitty
enough to
one.
do anything about it in the, before 4 times. But
Yeah.
looking back, he goes, yeah, that was probably shitty.
Oopsie daisies. Shouldn't have done
So
that.
fortunately, a lot of fire code changes were made, a lot of the same kinds of things that we saw with after the Iroquois fire, banning flammable decorations and inward swinging exit doors, providing exit signs to be visible, having maybe not just one revolving door be your main exit.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's
Uh-huh.
horrible.
Mm-hmm. So all those things, thankfully, have now been put in place. And another thing I want to mention is that a lot of there were local hospitals were actually were especially well prepared to treat the casualties and the victims and the survivors, having been rehearsing emergency drills in response to possible wartime attacks on the East Coast. Because, this is right after World War I, and everybody's going, this might, maybe something's going to happen again.
Yeah.
So the crisis demonstrated the value of the recently installed blood banks and simulated important advances in the treatment of burn victims.
Okay.
Following the fire, many new laws were enacted for the public establishments, of course. And on top of this, fire officials would later testify that had the doors swung outwards, just a few of those inward facing doors, at least 300 lives could have been spared. So just that one issue, just the one, do one thing and you'll save hundreds more lives.
Hundreds of
people. I guess we should, I suppose.
But the revolving door was part of the ambiance.
It was so pretty.
It was so much fun.
But yes, that is the horrible tragedy of the Coconut Grove fire in Boston.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
That's
And I recommend people looking up, don't look up the issues of burn victims, but do look up the fact that there is some really especially fantastic advances in the care of burn victims. And especially today, of course, you've got like fluid therapy, different antibiotics, and the fact that we've got people that can help deal with the psychological trauma of it as well. There's fortunately a lot of resources to help with stuff now. So I wanted to put that out there and say, like, hooray, things changed.
Yes, hooray, things changed. However, though, that when what year did this happen again?
42. 1942.
Yeah, so it's like you guys should have learned by now. At least most of the fires we talk about were older.
Yeah. Well, let's move on from the horrible things and talk about some spooky cookies.
Some spookies. So
it's time for spooky cookies.
Spooky cookies.
Oh, also I forgot to mention. So in my cup, of course, I have my coffee, but I'm in the holiday spirit in one way that I put eggnog in it. But the Evan Williams eggnog, so it's like whiskey eggnog or like rum eggnog. Oh yeah.
That sounds actually very good. Because like I'm not a huge eggnog person, but like spiked eggnog drinks are very good.
Oh yeah.
My favorite holiday thing that I usually get, which actually I haven't bought this year, and I should go buy some, is I'm not a big Smirnoff vodka person or anything, but the peppermint Smirnoff for the holidays is so good because it's just like like I put it in like my chocolate, or like if I'm drinking nothing today, I'm just drinking plain coffee, but like putting it in coffee is so good because the peppermint is like so strong. But like in a good way that like it clears out your sinuses.
Oh, okay. So I was like, that just makes me think of Rumplemints. And I'm like, I'm not 24 anymore, so I can't drink that shit.
Makes you think of what?
Rumplemints? It's a like mint liqueur, basically.
Oh, I don't think I've ever had
I'm
that.
sure it's probably good in that kind of like in hot chocolate or something.
Yeah, like this peppermint stuff,
but
you would not be drinking straight.
Yeah, no, God, rumble, never again.
No, but what I like about it is that, like I said, it's not overly sweet. It's just like very pepperminty, so
Ooh, I like
feels
that.
very festive.
All right,
Maybe I'll go buy some of that today,
Mhm.
and then sneak it on the plane with me.
Or you just buy it when you fucking get there. Oh, it'll be more expensive, yeah.
So anyway, all right. So I am doing a theater that I'm very excited about because it's a theater that I just worked in.
Ooh.
And when I was there, I was like, this theater has to be haunted because it is old AF. So I am covering the music hall in Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
Ooh.
Mhm. So this the theater itself opened in 1878.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's an old one. It is the oldest still operating theater in New Hampshire, and is the 14th oldest in the United States.
Damn, that's
Yeah.
cool.
This theater
That's
was
very cool.
like I said, this theater was freaking awesome. Like, it's one of those things where, like, putting modern day stuff in it because we did Frozen was kind of a pain, but, like, you just walk
Sounds
around.
blasphemous.
I know, right? It kind of was. No, it was great. But no, just like walking around the theater, it's like if you take a second to like really look at stuff, you're like, holy crap. Like I'll describe it and whatnot, but like I'm gonna jump all over the place. But like even the basement of the theater is like there's just like a giant rock in the middle of the theater, like in the basement that they like just didn't excavate. And like half of it's like dirt. Like I don't know. It was freaking cool. Anyway. So, to start out, they actually have a lot of information on this area. So in apparently where the theater sits now, in 1719, it was essentially a homeless shelter.
What?
In 1755, it was then a jail. In 1780, yeah, I know, right? Homeless shelter to jail. I wonder how
Because
seamless
being poor is a legal issue.
I know. I wonder how like seamless that transition was.
Yes, that's a horribly good question.
So, well, in good news, in 1781, it burned down.
Hey.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. In 1781, it burned down. I know, right? Hopefully with no one inside it. Anyway, yeah, 1781, it burned down and consumed several buildings in the area. In 1806, it then turned into a temple that held spiritual events. And then in around 1876, it was by that point a Baptist meeting house, and it burned down on Christmas Eve.
Oh no.
I don't have a lot of information on that, so I have no idea if anybody died, but
that says something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say what I think it says, but I think it says something.
But it says something. So around like I said, 1876, it is now a flattened piece of land.
Womp.
This sounds like the beginning of a joke. So a banker, a railroad executive, a lawyer, a housewife, and a clergyman decide that they wanted
to.
I know.
Nope. Okay. I'm on the wrong track. Okay. Sorry.
No. So they decided that they wanted to rebuild a space for entertainment in the community because they didn't have any. The reason why I was like, maybe not an orgy is because they were all members of the same family.
Oh, shit. Oh, God.
They were all related.
That was horrible. I'm sorry. I take it back.
This isn't the South. Calm down.
They're saying Alabama.
All right. So all of those people, they were members of the Pierce family who had owned that piece of land. And so again, they decided that they wanted to build a space for entertainment in the community, and they opened the theater on January 30th in 1878 with a sold out performance of Cast and John Wops. I don't know if you've heard of that one. So I don't know, but it was sold out. So good for them.
Cool.
So the music hall was originally opened as a vaudeville house, and famous people such as Buffalo Bill, Mark
Oh.
Twain, and Harry Houdini performed there. So
Oh my god. I will be mentioning Houdini in my next story.
nice. I love Houdini. He's like been everywhere. He's he's a cool guy. Thomas Edison also showed off some of his inventions there,
Huh.
which I thought was
I hope
freaking
not
cool.
the elephant one.
What's the elephant one?
The one where he fucking killed an
Oh,
elephant
he
on
electrocuted
stage.
the elephant. No,
Yeah.
not that one.
Okay.
This one is like stuff related to like making movies, like moving
Okay.
pictures. No. Yeah, Thomas Edison electrocuted a whole elephant.
He sure did.
Jerk.
Mhm.
But I guess we have electricity, so whatever.
Yeah, but we had it before him, so Tesla.
Fucking Tesla. I forget about that.
Mhm.
AKA David Bowie.
Oh man.
That joke is from the Prestige because he plays Tesla in the Prestige. Love that movie. Anyway, um, in 1898, they also showed one of the first moving pictures on the graphophone.
Ooh,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
right?
That is pretty cool.
I know, right? This place is so nifty. So because it was pretty close to NYC, Broadway shows when they would start their touring, often would come through there to start their tours whenever Broadway started touring. Most notably was the original Peter Pan and The
Oh,
Wizard of Oz.
wow, that's cool.
Right? I just added in this little thing because I thought that this was freaking nifty. The freaking Freemasons used to have meetings in this building.
I feel like that is probably gonna add to the things you're gonna mention later.
I was like, "That's freaking dope." Um, it's
That's freaking dope.
Freemasons, yo. Masons, not Mansons. Masons, not the
Whoa,
Mansons.
that's different.
It's different. Oh gosh.
Don't free the Manson.
No,
No,
don't
he's
feed
dead, it's
the Mansons. Yeah, anyway.
fine.
In 1901, a local politician and ale brewer, Frank Jones, bought and added some fancier details to the theater. The proscenium arch is one of those items, and then the boxes, which are so cool. It was literally the first thing that I noticed in the theater that are there today, are the things that he added in 1901. So
Ooh.
I still remember, like, we came in the back way, obviously, like at the very beginning,
Mhm.
and immediately like walked into the audience to go and get our stuff. And as soon as we were walking past like the boxes, I was like, that is gorgeous. Like
Mm.
just like the detail on it, like and everything, like all like the scroll work. Oh, it's just gorgeous. Love it. So during the two world wars, it operated as a venue for local events and mostly movies. And in 1945, it was bought and renamed the Civic and turned more into a movie house, as most theaters did during that time. In 1980s, it feared being demolished as it was kind of falling into disrepair again, as a lot of theaters did.
Mhm.
However, a group of locals called the Friends of the Music Hall raised
Oh.
funds and bought the theater and turned it into the nonprofit venue we see today.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Yay.
I thought that was cute. So it is now a 895 seat theater capacity. It
Good size,
has
damn.
yeah, it's pretty big. It's gone through tons of different like renovations and everything. For the most part, they've kept a lot of like the original like ceiling work and everything. Obviously, they just, will touch it up and paint it and whatnot. I thought this was cool. The hardwood floor that's in the audience is the original hardwood floor.
Ooh, that's
Which,
cool.
looking back on it now, like, thinking about that, because I did all this research, after having been there, but,
Mhm.
like, thinking about it, I was like, "Yeah, that looked." I was like, "Yeah, that I remember the hardwood floor." And then, they, like I said, have done a lot of renovations, so, like, they've done, like, this really beautiful lobby and everything. Their bathrooms downstairs are, for some reason, like, really iconic.
Okay.
This is only gonna make sense to people who have been there. I should take a picture, see if I can find a picture of it, but, like, they renovated the bathrooms a couple of years ago, and they're, like, underwater themed. So it's just,
So,
like
that's a choice.
it's just, like, insane, like, stonework and,
Huh.
like
Okay.
yeah, and, like, the sink looks like the sink from Harry Potter. Like, I don't know. It's It's very intense. The joke is that it's the nicest bathrooms in all of Portsmouth. Anyway.
I mean, with a big ass entertainment venue like that, they better be. I mean,
Yeah, no, they like it was one of the first things that people said to me when they were like, "We have to go look at the bathrooms." I was like, "What?"
like, what are you trying to sell me? Ew.
I know, right? Like, okay, sounds good. So like I said, I recently was just there less than a month ago, because a Gunkwit Playhouse rents it out for their winter performance. I don't know how long they've been doing that for, but it's been a while. So this year they're doing Frozen. Whee!
Woohoo.
However, though, the freaking coolest thing
Hmm.
about this building is that it is one of the last remaining hemp houses in the US and still has its original rigging system from 1901.
Holy shit.
Mhm.
That's incredible.
Yes.
That's
So,
incredible.
yeah, like it's so freaking cool. I sent you some
Whoa.
pictures and I'll definitely post
Mhm.
them. What I thought was funny is they were like, because I was only in the building for like a week or so. And so I wasn't exploring or doing anything because I was a painter. So I was kind of on the stage just painting stuff. And I just remember that one of the carpenters, Adam, walked up to me and was like, "It's so cool being in a hemp house, don't you think?" And I was like, "Yeah, what?" Like, just had that moment of like, "Yeah, it's pretty cool." And I was like, "Are they like smoking hemp? Like, what are you talking about?" I had no idea what they were talking about.
Again, what are you trying to sell me?
Yeah, what are you trying to sell me? So for anybody who doesn't know, a hemp house means, like, it's basically it's ropes, it's all ropes, it's not, like, rigging, it's not wiring, it's
Mhm.
not, aircraft cable, it's literally, like, hemp ropes, like, it's like what they used on old-timey ships and
Mhm.
whatnot. So I talked to, another carpenter, my friend Campbell, a shout out to Campbell, and they tried to explain to me how the rigging system worked, and
Mhm.
bless their heart and bless my dumb brain, I don't understand. I'm not a rigger. I understand that you pull rope and thing go up
And think
and
go up.
pull rope and thing go down.
Counterweight. Counterweight.
Yep,
Counterweight. Counterweight.
counterweight. I remember the phrase, in through the front and out through the back.
That's yep.
Eating food.
Means something different to me.
Yeah, I know. But either way, that's how I remember rigging. But just to give an idea for things, so it's an original like rope, block, and tackle and counterweight system.
Mhm.
And they, for people who are in theater and kind of understand this a little bit better, they don't use stage weights. They don't use pig weights. They use sandbags still.
Oh, oh shit. Wow.
Yeah. Like I said, it is like OG, OG.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, like you were saying, it works like a counterweight. I'm not gonna try and explain how rigging works to all of these people. If you know, you know.
Physics.
Yeah, again, rigging is just it's when I say fly system, hemp house, it's the
Mhm.
way that scenery flies in and out for
Mhm.
all the people in the layman's terms.
Mhm.
So,
Yep.
however, though, another cool thing again with them using sandbags is that on the fly rail, they don't have brakes. They have just the cleats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with like the
Yeah, that
pegs
makes
and
sense.
everything.
Mhm.
So freaking cool. But anyway, I'll post a picture of it. It is, yeah, it is freaking awesome.
That's cool.
It is such a cool place. So, with this building being old and still in like a lot of its original capacity, there's lots of ghosties.
Yee.
Um Also one little thing too that Campbell mentioned is I guess apparently you can find signatures from like the 1800s up in
Oh,
like the fly
cool.
loft and
Ooh,
stuff like that.
that's so cool.
So, yeah, I got to go up there once when I was there, and I didn't get to see them, but I was like, "Oh, so freaking cool." The ghosts in the music hall, so there are quite a few. None of them are named, and they don't know where a lot of them came from, but also with a couple of fires around and the building being as old as it is and so many original things, it kinda makes sense that we're gonna
Mhm.
have ghosties, but we might not know
Oh,
where
yeah.
they came from.
Mhm.
So, in one account, there is a unknown entity that likes to walk on the stage when the curtains are closed, causing the curtains to ripple
Ooh.
considerably. But when
Oh.
the stage is checked, no one is around.
That's
I think
cool.
that sounds so cool. Like if you're just
That's very
sitting
cool.
in the audience and just like
Just
big, like
watch it.
especially if you can see it moving.
That'd be
So
really
cool.
cool.
Love it. Around the lobby area and the box office, people have often heard the shuffling of feet and unexplained noises going up and down the stairs. One woman saw a full solid apparition. Apparition? Is
Yeah.
that the right word?
Yeah.
Apparition? Apparition.
Apparition.
Apparition. I don't know why I'm like, I don't know why that sounded wrong. Anyway, saw a solid apparition of a pleasant-looking man dressed in 19th century clothing standing on the staircase, on his way to get some refreshments.
Oh.
However, she thought that he was an actor hired to add to the Victorian decor and ambiance. Imagine her surprise when he randomly faded away.
That's so cool.
According to a Reddit user, I thought this one was super cool. According to a Reddit user, during a performance at the music hall, a shadowy mist suddenly got in the way of her vision of the stage and the performance. However, there was no fog or smoke effects being used, and it appeared to only be blocking her in like a circular kind of esque shape and no one else around her, and then it dissipated quickly.
What? That's very cool.
That's very cool. Like, especially if it doesn't like fly away, it just
Right?
like
It just
goes away.
cool.
I like that one. There have also been lots of reports of cold spots and strange lights turning on and off, and then music playing from the empty stage. People have seen audience members sitting in seats with clothes that don't belong to the time period. Roxy, who was one of the box managers, said it's almost like the building itself is a living, breathing entity.
I like that phrase.
Yes, and I mean, being in that building, especially up in the fly loft, like by myself when I was up there, yeah, you can feel it. Or like down in the basement and stuff like that, when you're just standing there and everything's quiet, it's like, yeah, it feels like it. So Roxy said that someone told her a story once about hearing footsteps on the staircase behind them, only to turn around and find that no one was there. This one. According to one technician who has worked in the music hall, this is a quote. They said, I found myself alone in the fly rail. This is not me. I found myself alone in the fly rail area early in the morning before a tech. As I was walking from stage right to stage left, there's kind of a bridge that goes across in the fly rail. And I suddenly felt a chill. Glancing up, I noticed a tall, shadowy figure standing at the end of the platform. It was a man who was impossibly tall with a long coat.
Goodbye.
I know. I froze thinking it was maybe a crew member, but they didn't move, and that didn't make any sense. I called out. No response came. When I finally got the courage to approach, the figure vanished. I love it.
Oh my God. And then I shit myself and walked back home.
Honestly, like, okay, so I have a picture of the bridge, and again, I'll post it. But like after reading that, I was like, yeah, I see it. I could see that for sure. And then to give this place just a little bit of credibility, so I know I mention them a lot, but my favorite podcast, and That's Why We Drink, who does the paranormal and true crime, they had their live show at the music hall on September 27th. And they usually try to only do it in haunted places. So I'm like, there's that credibility.
Yay, cool. Oh, that's
anyway.
cool.
Yeah, so that is the story of the music hall in Portsmouth, New Hampshire that I have been inside and was freaking awesome.
Can't wait to see more pictures of that place because you sent me a few and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, the background was so cool. Also, once again, I'm sorry, Campbell, if you listen to this, that I butchered describing how fly rails and shit work.
You're just gonna get an email from them like, no.
No, but honestly, so like I understand the basics of rigging, but I realized when I first did an overhire at a Gunkwit Playhouse and they were like, Jill, get on the rails and help load weight. I was like, okay. And then I was like, I've never worked at a fly rail before. Because all the theaters that I've worked at are in the round.
Oh, so
they don't have fly rails. And then like at Cirque has obviously like a gigantic fly rail of like 300 winches, but they're all automation.
Right.
So
yeah, so you just push button and it's go.
And
Like,
it go. It
yeah.
does the thing.
You don't have to do the load like, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
so it's like and also that place has been running for 25 years, so you're not
Right.
loading weight and doing all of these things. But yeah, so a Gun Quit was the first place that I've ever worked that had one.
That's so cool.
But yeah,
I mean,
so that's why
technically, I mean, University of Memphis does have,
Memphis
like
says, but I never used it.
it's just, like, stage weights and random shit like that, so
Yeah.
yeah, the normal stuff.
Yeah, my biggest experience with fly rail systems is High School Musical 3 when Troy Bolton dances on them, and I'm like, I don't think you can do that.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. That's not safe, friend.
Well, I really liked our stories today. This is good.
I'm excited about our next ones too.
I
Yay,
know.
we were just rolling them out. I love it.
I know. I'm so proud of us because yeah, even though for our listeners it'll be a week for you guys to hear it, we're gonna record our next one right now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's season 2. We still haven't figured out how to sign out. So, toodles.
Not ghosting us.
Yeah,
No,
don't. Oh, that's a good one.
Nope.
And thank you for not ghosting us.
Nope. It's horrible. I take it back already.
I hate it. I hate it. All right. Ending. Goodbye.
Okay, the end.
Until next time, don't forget to leave the ghost light on. Thank you for joining us. Leave the Ghost Light On was created, hosted, and edited by Danica Jackson and Jill Horn.
Musical composition created by Jay Nygaard.
Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Spotify, and more.